Hi everybody, this video is sponsored by contribution from Anonymous. And here is her story. Sorry I can't send more, put up my story whenever you have time. I don't use names in my story. This is going to be jumbled, but I did the best I could. I can't afford to send you much, but I did send something. It might be a long one. Oh God, where do I even start? Should be the sexual abuse, the religious and spiritual abuse, the no boundaries, the physical pain, or the headache shaking my head. I never felt like my parents were parents. I always felt like I was some sort of slave, sexual object, and someone's ex. I can't figure out who's who. Oh, my parents always did things to make sure me and my brother were against each other, so it seems. My job was the dishes, and I hated the dishes. My brother's was the trash. Even into my 20s, when I still lived at home and my parents were eating dinner and I was in my room. Afterwards, my dad came to get me to do their dishes, and I just felt so upset and was mad inside and crying. I was so tired of being a slave. One time when I was a little girl, I walked to my parents' bedroom and the door was open, and my dad's naked butt was showing out of the bed as he was on top of my mom. I was horrified, feeling sorry for her, and walked away. When I saw her later in the kitchen, I asked her about it, and she looked a little disturbed, saying something like, "Don't worry about it." There's just so much to say as I write. More things pop up, more details, etc. So I think my mom felt guilty about not being a very sexual person, so she tried to make me sexual so my dad had something to look at. I guess she was sexually abused by her neighbor, which so was I. I'm sure it was all a setup to make me susceptible. She only talked to me about sex once when she approached me. It was it was a Sunday after church, and she had some pamphlet, and it was like almost shaking, and I felt for her like she was so scared to tell me. My mom never wore tank tops because she said she didn't like to show her shoulders, and she always wore long shorts. When I got into middle school, all the short skirts were out, and I wanted to be cool like the other girls. I don't know why, because when I looked at them wearing them, I felt uncomfortable. My mom really didn't want me to buy one, but my dad said, "I don't care what you wear, honey." And now I realize why he said that. I still feel part of me is in denial, like there is no way that is actually what was going on behind the curtain. How sick. My mom takes me shopping for clothes and she would make me feel terrible about myself. Then I'd have to hide the bags from my dad when we got home. I don't know why. I'd try on bikinis and be so upset because my stomach poked out so much. And she tried to tell me, "Why can't you just suck in your gut?" People used to ask me if I was pregnant. I was pregnant. I felt like I was in the middle of my parents' relationship, but that I really didn't exist. I am the oldest and I think I am the golden child, but I'm not positive. There's so much to say, and this is the first time writing my story. I get lots of presents as a I got lots of presents as a child, but was accused of being ungrateful constantly because I wouldn't use what I was given. My younger brother was constantly accused of being lazy and that he is smart but doesn't apply himself. Now I know my mom was just talking about herself. My mom would say, "He's just like me. We don't want to do anything." I don't know why, but my mom would call him lazy if he made a C in math in high school. She would say he's smart but doesn't apply himself, and I'd stick up for him saying he isn't lazy and you don't even know. He got an adrenal and melatonin because he said he couldn't focus and had trouble sleeping, and my mom denied that he had any problem, that he didn't have any trouble at all. Ridiculous. I would be so envious of how she would almost flirt with my brother and act all close to him, but I got the silent treatment. My dad was all over me. Every second he could, he was in my face. Ugh, disgusting. I guess this is where I should mention he's a deacon in the Southern Baptist Church, and it was not a choice to go growing up. He would tell me, you don't have to go to church, you get to go. As an adult, I feel like the God's still after me. He designed all the floor plans in both houses I lived in growing up. The first one we lived in until I was 2. Then he built on the property next door. Oh, I know he watched the other women because he has been going to the same hairstylist for 20 years. And when he comes home from seeing her, he just looks so happy. And my neighbors once said my dad watches their mom mow the lawn and they think he liked her. I don't know. Anyways, he would always tell me the story of the warrior in the Bible who would watch the women, uh, Bathsheba, and being tempted, but that he was an honest man, etc. Oh, bullshit. He's one of these fucking preachers out for the pussy, which is a lot of them, believe me. Believe me. In the first house, my brother and I had rooms next door to each other, and my dad's office was down the hall, close to the front door. But after I turned 2, my dad built a new house next door. He put my brother next to the guest bedroom, next to the front door, but far down the other side of the house, away from me. Oh, but my brother had not existed at this point, by the way. He made sure that my bedroom door was directly across the hall from his office where he worked. So every time I opened my door, he was there with his sick, smiling face, asking me how I was doing. Half the time I just wanted to gag instead of leave my room. Sometimes I just take 2 deep breaths before opening the door and go out the window and go through the backyard just to get to the kitchen. Oh, and if I didn't stop, he'd say my name. He'd come after me. I should also mention there is a bathroom connected to my bedroom, and he felt entitled to go to the bathroom in there. And when I asked him not to, he made a big deal, of course. He would not close or lock the door half the time, sicko, because it was convenient for him since his office was right across the hall and he worked at home. He couldn't use his own bathroom. Everything had to be his way because he was the king, he said. He makes the rules. When he would wake me up in the morning for school, he would swing open my door, turn on my light, rip off the covers and open the blinds. Yep. Well, that's the same shit that same exact pattern of behavior that drunky Amit Normus did to me. And what's with the bathroom door open because of his office? What is he gonna fucking get up mid shit and go take a business call? Are you serious? Think about that. What was he gonna do? He's gonna run, do a duck walk, and go answer the phone with a shitty ass? Come on, man. Well, if that's not humiliating and terrifying, I don't know what is. After how terrible it was that I could not sleep as a child, he'd scream at me for crying and not being able to sleep, and I'd be punished and not allowed out of my room. He'd make it worse when I was in high school by terrifying me in the mornings. Oh yeah, if I didn't put my shoes up in my closet, or if I backtalked when I was a kid, my dad would tell me to go to my room. He'd take off his belt, make me pull down my pants and bend over my bed so he could spank me with his belt, then proceed to tell me that he loved me and it hurt him more than it hurt me. It hurts you more than it hurts me is bull. It hurts me more than it hurts you is bullshit. And they'll always say that to you with the sickest, most satisfying smile on their face. Oh yeah, motherfucker, give me that fucking belt and see who it hurts more. See who it hurts more. That is just a sick sexual sadism. That's all that is. That's all that is. He'd always come back to my room after he yelled at me or something and stand in my doorway and say he was sorry as I'm just boiling with anger and I just read my Bible and cry. And now as I and now as I think of it, even as I was reading the Bible, my only comfort, even in there, I felt the gaslighting. Everything I read, I felt gaslighted by it. And I was the bad sinner. I was the one I was reading about. Oh, and my mom would swat at us with a fly swatter. Gross. Really, but yeah. When I got a car at 15, I got a garage door opener. Was not once given a key to the house growing up, or shall I say the prison. I was let in when I knocked on the door if I was outside playing. It was so embarrassing and I felt scared and ashamed. My dad bought me a car which he put under his name, but when I got a job at 16, because he insisted I did, he started giving me the bills to the custom car tag he'd given me. He made me look like a clown. My car was red and putting lights that go round and round over the license plate when I pushed the brakes on the car and the custom nameplate. Fast forward to today. I'm an adult. I never got that car put under my name. Shocking. I drove it for 11 years, and when someone hit me, he towed it. I'm on Social Security, and that's another story about how my parents changed their tactics after that, and my dad wouldn't let me get a replacement car until I had gotten a job. Not to mention when I was crying because I couldn't get a job with the major I had gotten a degree in, and I was going to apply for disability. He asked me where in the Bible it said to rely on the government for help. If I've said anything that makes sense, that's good because it's still a fog, even though I don't live there. I only live a few miles away. It isn't enough to make much difference since they made a key to my house apartment without telling me. I took it away and told my mom she wouldn't even come if I had an emergency because that's what she made it for. When I called 911 because I thought I was going to pass out from pain from my menstrual cycle, which by the way, if had pain and vomiting and etc. etc. Since I was in middle school when it started, but when I got older, I got birth control. Then I guess it was recalled, and then once I went into the ER because I was having weird symptoms, and they say it was a TIA, and my gyno said, "Oh, it was recalled, and you should never be on birth control again." Like, wow, you're a good doctor. I told my mom she humiliated me when 911 came. She told them I was bipolar and refused to take meds, and she acted offended that I even called 911. When they left, she made me flinch by almost throwing painkiller and pillow at me. I could tell she was thinking I was just scum or how much power she had over me. I had been throwing up painkillers in the previous months, and that's why I called 911 because I didn't know what to do, and I knew she wasn't going to help me. Oh, and it was her wedding anniversary, so just to top it off, she had to she used to have a fit if I got sick when I was a kid and be like, I can't believe I have to clean up your mess. She's a nurse, by the way, and I feel bad for all the babies she takes care of. She also talked me out of going with 911 people because I have no medical insurance. Later I look at her phone and she was sending pics of the ambulance or whatever that smaller car is called to her friend, and she was like, I just realized she could have gone for free and that IMSA or whatever is free on my water bill. Her friend wrote, next time, ha. Like, wow, she loves to humiliate me at my worst times of vulnerability. Anyways, when I took the key she made, my mom threatened to change her locks, etc. She started acting like the narcissist after I started avoiding my dad. She's probably one too. I've stopped communication with him a couple times, and my mom would be like, your dad wanted to know why you don't talk to him. And one time I said, because I'm not his wife and I don't want to go on dates with him. Because he is always bombarding me to hang out and go out to eat nearly every week. After that, for about a week, he acted really like deers in a headlight, not looking directly at me and being polite, but gradually back to normal, of course. I always clung to my mom because of my dad's rage. It sucked he worked from home the older I got. I hated waking up to his voice on conference calls and that loud ass telephone. We had like 12 telephones in the house, I swear. Not really, but at least five, and I had a second line and he had a second line for work. Everything revolved around his work because he was the provider. So that's why we were expected to do things around the house because he was the provider. Yet mom was lazy and would hardly cook, and we had fast food a lot. I've blowed up on her multiple times, and the last time changed her. She started playing a victim hardcore and started showing more overt narcissistic enabler behavior. And I feel hopeless now because I I felt at least I sort of had one parent, but now it's like I have nothing to hold on to. I think the worst part is when I would cry at night when I was a little girl because I would not sleep and I'd yell for mommy and my dad would come in pointing his finger at me, yelling at me, saying if I come out of my room one more time, who knows what he'll do. I forgot. He made my room feel like a prison. I just remember how terrified I felt and how I always abandoned when I would cry or feel upset. I then watched my childhood videos from my mom. When I watched my childhood videos, my mom would ask me how someone was doing, and I tell her sad every time. I hated being videotaped, so I'd ignore her and keep playing until she called my name multiple times. Then I would do whatever she wanted as fast as possible and go back to my own world. I felt bothered and annoyed by the camera even at 2 years old. I loved playing outside. My mom videotaped me outside playing on my slide, and I'd go into my small water pool. And the neighbors' girls would mess with me and tease me and throw water in my face. On this video the other day, my mom and I were at the grocery store, and I said there is so and so from fifth grade, and my mom is laughing because she reminded me of the time when we were in choir and she was taping me, and the guy tried to push me off the bleachers, and she said she was laughing because the face I gave him for doing it. I guess this was her way of gaslighting me for defending myself. I felt my dad was trying to keep my mom from me. I felt he was jealous of me or something and would try to steal her attention. We never got to hang out alone unless it was shopping. He must have felt that way when he was a kid with his mom and brother, or yet, better yet, my mom probably told him to set it up that way. Oh, I forgot to mention my dad asked my mom to marry him 9 days after knowing her because he felt God told him to. I've had to quit multiple jobs due to relationship issues that I didn't know how to handle. So I just quit because I didn't know talking to someone for help, like a manager, was an option. Or if I did have enough, I did have the thought to ask, the anxiety was too intense to actually tell someone, which really sucks. I feel terrified to the point of paranoia. My parents mentally abused me enough that it's like I am still carrying them around in my head. Like I subconsciously like subconsciously, which is scary because I don't I don't feel conscious of what I'm doing sometimes. I feel that someone is always out to get me, or that parents are going to come into my apartment and humiliate me. I only moved a couple miles away, and my dad feels he has the right to come to my door whenever he wants, even if I don't reply to his text messages. The only reason I haven't cut them off is because of fear and anxiety. My dad bought me another car, but that's the only thing left he pays for. I pay for all my stuff. Like a year later, after after the other one got totaled, my mom basically said he had to, but it's under his name and he pays the insurance. So I guess I could give it back at any time. But it's my only way around since the bus doesn't make it to my house. But I usually walk instead of taking my car. I just feel so ashamed because I live in a nice area for low income to be walking. So I feel like walking around with all the shame all over me for not having a job. I'm not going to mention all the terrible times after church growing up. Him driving my mom in the front seat, me behind him, and my brother next to me. I'm just boiling over with anger inside. He always asks the car, "Where do you want to go eat?" He's absolutely mythical about everything he does. If I was home a minute late when I was like 16, he would be like, "Where have you been?" And remember, his office is directly across the hall from my room, and no one can make a decision about food. So he gets pissed when I don't like his suggestions, and I give him a snarling comment back. He would literally tell my mom, "You can't turn around and slap her, please." Oh wait, can you turn around and slap her, please? Or turn around and knock her upside the head. Sometimes he'd just turn around and do it because he'd do it, but sometimes not. My mom never hit me though. He used to love hitting my head, which made me even more angry, and I'd scream and start to cry. Once I started screaming at the top of my lungs. But of course I was still the problem because my mom and brother would comply and were just drained that I couldn't. I just wanted to call out the bullshit. So to them, it was always my fault because I didn't keep my mouth shut. So my mom and brother are buddy buddy and blame everything on me like I'm like the problem. So I can't figure out who's the golden child because my mom usually got me more presents for Christmas and be like, "Oops, I didn't get your brother many presents." One time my dad was helping me move into college and he started yelling about something because my mom was helping him move the bunk bed, I think. He was like carrying heavy furniture, and he always seems to ruin some happy moment with someone not helping him good enough. So controlling. I can't even remember, and I left the room crying. Later, he sent me a text message saying, "I'm sorry for the way I acted, embarrassed you in front of your friend." And I replied back, "It has nothing to do with my friend, and you are not excused until you change your behavior." It wasn't even embarrassment. It was just him ruining another happy first moment. It's like he can't be happy about anything, always making a scene. My dad is calling me at least once a week to go out to eat with him. I always feel like it's a date and I don't know why we are even going out to eat. I hate these voicemails that try to fill me with guilt. "Hi, it's your dad. I'm just calling to see if you wanted to have lunch with your dad." Rolls eyes or text messages. Once a couple years ago, I told him I needed therapy and that I didn't want to continue our relationship until he got it because he has a lot of problems, and he replied with me needing therapy and how This is all my fault. My heart was pounding as I sent the text. He looked enraged when I got home. I just moved to an apartment and he's been showing up at my door. The first time without warning, the second he texted me on Mother's Day. I'm going to come knocking on your door in 5 minutes. I had not seen the text message, so I was startled when there was a knock on my door, feeling trapped in my own house by him. My dad reminds me of the older lady that keeps the dude's daughter under her car in the movie Prisoners. That's how I felt growing up, when the lady is making the dad drink poison at gunpoint and getting in her car and move it to reveal the secret round hole where he stays for days, just starving and terrified. That's how I felt growing up, as if I was at gunpoint day and night. I have a small family that I know of, either religious, lots of money narcs, or the rebellious ones. I feel hopeless and have few friends. I always attracting narcs. I just recently moved, and my neighbor, who's like 70, already asking me to go to church with her, and seems like I'd just be her pet to make her look good. And her narc son's after me, wanting to take pictures of my hands. I guess I should mention my parents now. Yeah, my whole family of narcs. My mom's aunt is a flaming narc. Everything is about her, and you have to worship her feet. Her husband doesn't say much, and oh, the dogs, another fucking dog. My mom has a dog too. Her husband has a deep anger, I can tell, and usually looks mad but very introverted. And their son is always saying, I'm going to hell if I don't change my ways. So I'm guessing their religion issue there too. I think there is a scapegoat, and the dog's the golden one. Well, let's see. My dad's mom used to take care of me growing up, and I felt more like a mom than my mom, and always told me how cute I was and that I was her favorite. I don't know what happened to my dad growing up, but he has one brother who drinks a lot, and my dad was the golden child, I think. Never having a drink in his life. Working, very hard working. I had a full-time job and full-time in college, but who knows what story and what's real. But he has to be the best. No one can be better than him. He has a lot of trophies. So my grandma cheated on my grandpa, and apparently my grandpa hired an investigator to tap the phones, but she's always claiming my grandpa was an alcoholic. I gotta have to ask you guys to stop abbreviating, and you guys got to stop abbreviating, and you got to capitalize and use punctuation, because it makes it very hard to read. It makes it very hard to read. And stop, and please, no putting etc., etc. Like, it's just, so many, it just throws me off when I'm trying to read it. I don't know, she might be a narc, because my dad pays for her house and even bought her a car, so I don't know what's going on there. I can tell he hates her but acts good around her. I can tell he wanted to get away. She smothers us, but I didn't mind since my parents were so standoffish. So my dad's grandparents got a divorce when I was like 6, I think. My mom's parents died before I was born, but my cousin and the narcs, but my cousin, the narc aunt's son said my mom's mom was something else and had a look on his face, and his mom's bad, and also they had another sister, which I hated when she took care of me. It was just a sisterhood of narcs, I'm guessing. Just a mess. I feel so gullible, like I can't accept my parents are bad. So I basically sacrifice myself for the sake that they will buy me things and do things on their own terms because it's less painful than having nothing or being homeless in my new apartment. I feel so I feel so drained and like I can't go on. Becoming an adult is much harder than I thought, and having no support and my parents making sure every resource I get fails because I feel bad and tell them too much info because they get me stressed out and give me no privacy. The dad's tone of my voicemail sound like you're another narcissist recorded video. Meanwhile, my brother's living with my parents on probation for years for getting caught with drugs. My parents bailed him out and flew him home, and now he's their prisoner for life because he owes them like money. And I overheard that he has some agreement with them that it's okay that my dad opens a mail, that he has no privacy. I want to tell him you should have just gone to prison because living here is no better than any other prison. Recently, I lost about 10 pounds due to stress because I graduated college 5 years ago and had to come back and live with my parents and could not find a job. I had no self-esteem with the degree I was going for. I told my mom I felt like dying and wanted to change majors when I was a sophomore, but she said just finish what I started. Because my dad had told me he would pay for my school if I made A's and B's, but if I made C's, I'd have to pay for half. And he said he would only pay for 4 years, so I couldn't even switch, even though I was terrible at what I was doing because it was art and because of all the mental problems. I could not gain enough freedom to express myself in the art and just ended up in embarrassing meltdowns and self-critical feelings and control, which turned into perfectionism and trying to act like my dad. Growing up, my parents were in the PTA, and my dad was the head of the yearbook. and well, my dad, my mom was head of the yearbook, but my dad was in yearbook all high school and college, so I just can't. I just wanted to relive it. I felt left out that they were spending more time working on this yearbook than me. My dad would always be trying to have a fuss about it and could tell my mom just want to be doing it. My dad was super nice to me and would play cards with me while my mom was at work. She worked nights because she didn't like being watched like a petting zoo. I always felt so uncomfortable, he felt like a sexual predator. I don't think he ever touched me. But I still felt uncomfortable. Oh God, I could go on and on. But when I was little, I felt like my mom was not present in my life. I felt like she was just a stone, just silent, that my dad was raising me without her. I can't remember her at all when I was little. She would spend time with me. She would put makeup on me like 13 foundations pictures. I hated it. I feel absolutely torn inside, feeling like I have no support. My parents always called me a hypochondriac growing up because I have some mysterious pain. But that I have headaches really bad that my mom took me to get an MRI at the doctor, which turned out to be fine. I always wonder why I have these mysterious health problems. Now I realize it's the emotional pain that I know manifesting anything physical would show up. The unhealthy food we ate because my mom was lazy, did not cook at the time, gather eyeliner, tattoo, don't worry. So here I am living as an adult, living on the government income in government paid apartment with no job, no confidence because over time I want to do something. My dad's voice is in my head. I can't do it because I'm not allowed to be successful as him. I feel absolutely desperate that I'm going to lose my SSI because I won't know how to explain my problem in therapy. That's why I'm writing this story, so I can just give them it. So if you have any clarity or advice, thanks. Sorry for the mess. Take care. And this is a mess. And you're a mess. And I'm going to tell you why you're a mess. And I'm going to tell you why you're doing. And don't take this as an attack, because I am not attacking you here. Okay, but you have grasped onto, and I'm going to get into all this. You have grasped onto, I don't want to call it a pattern of laziness, but you have grasped onto a need of having other people do things for you. And this arose from almost a subliminal revenge on a way of getting back to your parents. That's what all the so-called hypochondria is about. And you pick this up from your mother. This laziness, this do for me so I don't have to do for myself. Okay, look, just the way your letter's written, and I'm not, like I said, I'm not picking on you. It's not written by somebody who's been to college. Okay? It's written like you're kind of talking, and there's a lot of like this, like that, no capitalization. Okay? And listen, at the end, you're saying you're desperate to not lose your SSI and have this explained so you can just hand this to them. SSI isn't going to listen to me, and I'm not even sure if you at your age need to be on SSI. You need to get all over your fear of being alone. Now, let me explain to you what your parents did to you. Your mother is your main source of your problem. Your parents both came from narcissistic dynamics, and based on what you're telling me about your father and his mother, he is a man-child. You are the black sheep. Your brother is the golden child, by far. Your mother is probably this asexual person, or might even be a lesbian, like one of these lazy lesbians or lazy asexual persons who have offered up her daughter to her sexually narcissistic, perverted preacher husband, who then goes around checking out other girls, that's why he wants to go out with you. He wants to be seen with you because he gets a sexual charge out of being seen with a young girl. And he sees other girls who might be susceptible to seeing an older man with a younger girl with his daughter, or even if they don't realize you're the daughter, they think you're together. There are women who get off on that, and he knows it. He's living in some kind of sick sexual sadism. You don't need his car. You don't need his money. You're college educated. You have the ability to get out on your own and do this. You need to get past the laziness, and I don't even know if laziness is the right word, the need for others to do for you because you're afraid to do it for yourself. I'm not even calling it laziness. But how you're living your life, you are going to continue to draw in narcs and drive away other people. It's that simple. And I can't sit here and candy coat it and blow smoke up your ass. Okay, you have some serious issues going on with you. And I'm not saying you're a narcissist. You're not. A narcissist wouldn't even ask what the problem is. Okay, but you're stuck in a pattern that was caused by your parents, where you are stuck trying to be dependent on other people. And you have picked up your mother's tactics of getting other people to do things for you because of the narcissistic abuse. You can do these things yourself. You need to cut these people out of your life. If they're showing up at your house, call the cops. Give them the car back. You don't need it. There is no shame in walking. None. None. There is a pride in rebuilding your life and doing it on your own and getting back on track. Okay, me explaining a video of narcissism to SSI is not going to go anywhere. I have no certification. I'm not a doctor. And you know what? SSI is a game anyway. The SSI game has nothing to do with whether you're sick or not. It has to do with you hiring an attorney and them suing. That's how the game works, so everybody gets paid. And these lawyers, as long as you have gone to enough doctors who go through, who have diagnosed you with things, a lawyer will take your case on contingency, okay, sue disability, and then they will get their money when you get paid. That's how SSI generally works. You're not going to be able to prove anything on your own to SSI. You need a fact-based from doctors of what your issue is. And then when you're denied, you get a lawyer, and then the lawyer sues, and that's how you get SSI. What you're asking to do here is going to keep you in the same place forever. You are spinning your wheels. You need to go no contact and reorganize your life and move forward from there. Your problems are based in your family. Get them out of your life. Your mother is a covert narcissist, pulling the strings, using your father as a weapon, and he goes along willingly with it. That's what's going on in your dynamic. That's what's going on here. And that's what you need to change. So thank you for your contribution. I hope this helps. I mean, I hope this helps. I understand you're going through a lot, and I could tell that as I read your story. You got so much emotion going on, but you need to rip it down to the base. Stop and realize where your problems are coming from. They're coming from your mother. They're coming from your mother using your father. You are the black sheep. Your brother is the golden child. I hope that's obvious by now. And I wish you luck. I hope this helps. Thank you to everybody watching. Please leave any comments or opinions in the comment section below. And again, if you want your story read on the channel, or you have a audio of a narcissist you like to expose, or a topic you'd like me to cover, you know what to do with the PayPal link in the description box. I'll have the video right back to you. This is Ollie Matthews. Thanks for watching. I'll see you all again soon.